button, go.
Too many fucking buttons.
Hey, everybody. Too many fucking buttons.
Sorry. Hi, everybody.
Hi, there's too many buttons.
Hey, hey.
So many
Look, it's all 6 of us. All 6 of us.
All 6.
We're all together.
Patricia is fresh off the plane within a few hours.
Fresh off a plane. She's got the hat of insanity on to prove it.
I missed the memo on the hats, apparently.
Yeah, the memo was not shared with everyone.
I was just told, number one, I was told, Stephanie, order the hat. So I did as I was told. And then I was told, put the hat on tonight. And I did as I was told.
Not everyone was told to order this hat.
Well, it's fine, except those were the first 3 to join, and it was just those 3 and me. And I was like, did I miss something?
No, it's fine.
And then other people joined, and I was like, oh, okay, it wasn't me.
This particular hat memo went out to 4 people who are seated together for the concert.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
And then
no, it's fine. And then I joined.
Patricia got wind of it. A few other people got wind of it. Yeah.
I joined, but we can pass it on.
Mm-hmm.
Like
No, we can't. So it would have been passed on to other people, but she sold out. So
I only panicked. I had missed something.
No, but we can pass it on during the concert, like this.
Which reminds me,
no, I'm not bitter. Guys, I'm not bitter. Okay, there's not mad.
Say that with less bitterness.
There's gonna be like army bomb passing around and hat passing around in the concert.
No, it's fine, everybody.
Fine.
By the way, when people spell
I don't know why my
Omnibomb,
voice is doing this, but it's fine.
AMIBAMB, I think that's adorable.
I know.
Army bomb.
They spell it
Omnibomb. AMIBAM. It's cute.
Yes,
because it's the way to get
Omnibomb.
around flags on social medias.
It's
Okay,
adorable.
guys, this is a new
I love
record.
doing that.
My
We call it.
wow.
We
My
should
shirt-
call it.
everybody.
My Hobie shirt just went missing.
People like
Somebody put the 26th on today's live, like we're 3 days in the future.
No, that's for 3 days in the future.
That is for 3 days in the future.
Why
You're
are we
watching the wrong
3 days
one.
in the future?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Because the
I see.
Wednesdays are different from the Sundays, and I was sick of re-putting in all the member names every week.
I see the correct one now.
Okay, guys,
That's why it exists.
my Hobie shirt disappeared for 10 days between North Carolina and Georgia, which I assure you are bordering states.
Was it like first they blamed the train derailment?
First, they blamed the
Correct,
train derailment. Yeah. Then it's just been swirling the drain for 10 days. Finally, today, arrived at the local post office. So maybe I'll get it for the live concert.
Maybe.
I wonder if it's wherever my Yoongi poster is.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder what happened. That Steph had a Yoongi poster. Anyway, guys, I swear we have good shipping. It's really, I blame the Postal Service.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean,
When in
was
doubt,
a
let's
whole-
go ahead and blame the United States.
There was a whole train derailment. I didn't know that the U.S. Post still traveled by train. It was a new information for me.
Yeah, they still do a lot of things by train. Surprisingly enough.
I was.
Oh, actually, Steph, I
surprised.
think you're getting
I
two
thought they
posters.
still did it by horse.
I am getting 2 posters.
Okay, it's fine. Anyway, to be clear, they're all shipped by the shipping people. They get lost somewhere between going into the Postal Service and coming out of the Postal Service. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
We're actually still using the whole Wells Fargo wagon thing. That's what it actually is.
If I actually end up getting both of them, if that second one makes it to me, we'll just give that one
Yeah,
away
great.
or something.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like the first one that was missing that just went AWOL for 12 days. It says it's at your local post office now. So,
Oh, oops. Okay.
look, how did we know? It just disappeared for 12
So
days.
basically, our merch just takes its own little tour
It does.
around the
a
U.S.
journey,
Look,
a journey.
it's clear.
It took a nap.
Much
a
like
lot of orders.
in the Oregon Trail, if the wagon wheel breaks or the oxen die of dysentery, you just have to wait a little longer to get your items, but they'll get there.
Wasn't that a video game? The dysentery video game?
Yes, Oregon.
Yes,
You
the
have
Oregon
died of
Trail.
dysentery. Yes.
Computer game.
Everybody died of
Yes.
dysentery.
Yep. Quite
Yeah.
often you
Yes.
would find yourself on the trail and then your whole game would just be over because, oops, your whole family died of dysentery.
Dysentery.
Yeah.
It was
That's a
game.
good
I don't know why I'm
Game song.
laughing.
Like,
I don't know why I'm laughing.
because you playing your game. You're like, how many oxen do you want? How many bags of grain do you want to buy?
I mean,
Okay, let's get on the trail. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, so-and-so died of dysentery. Let's bury them. And then their tombstone appears on the screen. And you're playing this when you're like, I don't know.
Should you ford the river or not?
10 years old in the computer lab at your school. And it's like, oh, everybody died.
You can still play it. I played it
can still play
maybe
it.
5-ish years ago.
so for those of you that are joining the live for the first
We
time,
do talk about
welcome.
BTS.
Stick around.
But first, the
Hey,
Oregon Trail.
You know who almost
First we
died of
talk about
dysentery?
dysentery,
Jimin.
okay?
Jimin almost died of dysentery.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Almost
He
died.
was on a
died.
struggle bus. He probably needed more than
Makes you wish you
Pepto-Bismol.
died.
For the lawyers, I don't actually know what he had, but it was unpleasant.
I was going to say, let's not tell everyone he had dysentery when we have no idea.
I don't know. It's just a joke. Don't take it too seriously.
Pepto.
No kidding.
Pepto, people. Pepto, pack your Pepto.
He did in
Isn't
fact say
joking.
he almost died.
The oxen died on their trip. That's why they had to get a motorcycle. It was a whole thing.
A whole thing. There was a rock tower.
None of
saved
this
his
is
life.
canon. None of this. Absolutely none of this.
Well,
there
now
is
I'm
no
trying
run
to
to
know what the hell you're talking
Now I'm
about.
doing an Oregon
We
Trail.
are
Are you
so
sure
full
mashup.
of shit. It's not even funny. Just know that.
Okay,
Be aware.
but if Jimin and JK had to
called-
hunt to survive, who,
Imagine if
who
it was
would
called,
make
Are
it?
You Sure You Want to Go to Oregon?
Are you
First
sure?
of all, Jimin is a little warrior. He is kendo trained.
That's true.
He is contemporary dance
He's
trained.
gonna
Like I just have a feeling you just put
yes,
me-
I mean, as long
if
as
he
his
needed to
tummy
show up that way.
cooperates.
Yeah, but if they have to
Yeah,
kill
he would show
anything
up.
cute, they're
Also-
both going down. They're both going to
Yes,
starve
he
to death.
would also die crossing the river too. I forgot about that. Like
Mm.
everywhere, everything was fraught with peril. The entire day fraught with peril.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
literally hear Kim Suk Jin play that game.
How many more oxen?
He would have been so mad at that river. Tell you the fuck why. He'd have been spitting bars.
Dysentery again.
Damn this dysentery.
All right,
There.
Anyway.
How
Anyway.
dare.
welcome.
Welcome. How are you? We're all fine here.
That's what you
Yes.
got.
How are you?
Everything's fine.
Guys. Don't even worry about it.
I better pull this agenda up. There it is.
Everything's fine.
You
Don't
guys
worry
crack
about
me
it.
up.
Stephanie, it's your time.
What?
It's your time
Oh,
to
my
shine.
God.
We're gonna actually
Are we
do the
starting
agenda
now?
now, apparently. In theory,
gonna start.
in theory, we're gonna start.
Welcome everybody to our show about dysentery. And
Yes, hands.
welcome to the AP529 Live. Tonight we're going to be doing a deep dive into their solo careers and how they've changed or how they haven't changed. But hold on to your shorts for that because it's coming, but not quite yet. We have some business to take care of. First of which, if you don't know what AP529 is, you're missing out. And I don't know how you found us here tonight, but welcome. We are a project, BTS themed project, where we focus on two things: content. I'm sorry, something was driving me crazy over here. Content and community. And content, all of that goes on our blog that Lisa writes, and Doc researches everything and gets all the stuff together. And they pull that all together. And then Christina and Katie and others put the blog together and then make it all beautiful. And we have now almost 60 weeks of content. We're starting our 60th week. So
Insanity.
529 for those that always want to ask. 529 is the number of days between January 1st, 2024 and Festa 2025, when I thought this project would end. But it will not be. So, yeah.
It will not.
That sounds exciting for the people that know us, vaguely threatening for the people that don't.
But it will not.
I thought it
will
would be
not
that one
end.
chapter in my life, but nope, it's going to be a
Actually,
whole book. So
This is
I
never
literally-
going to be.
I literally told my bosses it's only going to be like a year and a half. It's
Yeah.
fine. I'll just be distracted for like a year and a half. It's just like a side thing. Did not realize it was going to become the length of an actual second job, and there was no end in sight. So we had
Yeah.
to have a conversation recently
You bitches thought you
it'll
knew.
never be
about
over.
how this isn't going to end in June
Instead,
as
it
originally
Never
thought.
gonna end.
Is
And
going
I
to
need
stop.
time off for concerts
Yeah.
and meetups. So
Yeah.
that was
This will never be over. This will never be over.
You're
Instead,
never getting rid of us.
Festa is kicking off the golden era of BTS. I have a feeling
Yes.
this year Festa is going to kick it all off. And all of a
mean,
sudden,
How could we shuffle off the mortal coil of our project just as BTS was coming back and getting started?
I mean, really,
don't know.
everybody's gonna, be so confused and distracted in all the directions.
Yeah,
Totally.
I mean,
Right.
We might
We're
have to
going to
switch
be-
our news for more time.
I mean, we were going to be so bored this,
We were.
Or in this
9
relative
days.
Yeah, during
And
our relative
relative
silence.
silence.
When they come back, man.
It's here we go.
I'm already
Yeah.
out of money and they're not even back yet.
I know, it's
Um,
ridiculous.
So anywho, that's who we are. And also Patricia is back. She was on the other side of the world enjoying beaches and family and babies. And she
Sending
is
us
now back.
pictures that didn't make us jealous at all.
Not even a
Yes.
little bit.
Not even a
We
little
missed
bit.
her greatly.
I landed
And
today.
she's the wise, brilliant person behind our Moss City map. And so if you're not on our Moss City map, then you should go to our website, ap529.com/map. Is that right?
Yeah, it's on the agenda.
That sounds really good.
Sounds right.
Sounds
And
right.
number one,
It could be right.
I'm gonna go type that in the browser right now and
at
test
it recently. It's incredibly inspiring to go and look at how many people are on it. I mean, it's inspiring. It's just amazing. And number two, if you're not on it, go add yourself so that you can be found and find others and all that great stuff. So that's us. That's our show.
Nice.
We
like
Exactly 5,465 people.
Nice.
There you go.
It's amazing.
There you go.
Crazy.
And I see all the time in my Facebook groups, I don't have anybody to go do this with. I don't have anybody and find somebody. You will find somebody, I promise. We have enough people now in our map and in our Discord to where there will be someone near you.
I'm typing the map or the link for somebody.
Oh, sorry. I did not mean to jump ahead on the agenda.
Whatever.
Without
No, you're fine.
What's
Oh, you're good.
basically, guys? Everything that we talk about tonight is going to be at the link that's pinned in the chat. That link is a page full of links that takes you to other cool stuff.
Another place where you can meet people, Katie.
What's another place? Yeah, another place you can meet people, is the Moss City Meetup. We hosted one last year in Kansas City. We're hosting one again in Kansas City. As usual, I will say, none of us live in Kansas City. We picked it because it was centrally located and had good international airport access and is also relatively affordable as a good old Midwestern city. So we are going to be there for 3 days this year. We were there for a day and a half last year, and the feedback was lots of fun, wanted more of it. We said, okay, we'll give you more of it. We are, let's see. So yeah, we'll be there for 3 days. It's July 25th, 26th, and 27th this year. And we are going to be doing concert viewing, dance party, costume contest, run BTS games, basically BTS nerd party for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
So much shenanigans.
So much
Grand party.
You pay for your transportation in your hotel room. We have negotiated a discounted rate at the hotel we're hosting it at. And then you pay a fee. We organize all the activities and we cover all your meals for the weekend.
Yes.
So more information also at the link in the chat. We are currently sold out of single rooms. So if you would like to go, you need to find a roommate and so you can get a double room. We have just launched this week a roommate matching process. It's not binding, but it was hugely successful last year. We have people who met last year and were roommates that are now going to see Hobie's concert together. So like, Army's cool, man. Take a chance.
Yeah.
So if
Take
you
a
go,
chance on me.
Change your mind.
can't resist.
I'm the first in line. Sorry.
Nope. And anyway, more information at the link above when you click. It's just a Google form that you fill out, and then we'll send you an email with somebody that you're paired with and say, hey, you guys can get to know each other and decide if you want a room together.
That's right. And introverts, fear not.
Fear
not. We have many, many introverts that go to the meetup that say it is a smashing time.
Yes.
Because if you don't want to talk about anything else in your personal life at all, you just want to talk about BTS, you will be entertained and have plenty of stuff to talk about for those entire 3 days.
Yep.
Trust.
And honestly, if you don't want to talk to anyone, there's just plenty of stuff to look at.
Yeah.
There is.
No
Nobody's
one's
gonna bother
gonna
you.
be weird.
It was fun. Go take your pics by the cutouts, and it'll be fun.
So yeah, come hang out with us. We'd
one
love
of
to
the
see
one
you.
of the things
It was a stupid good time last year. It was a
it
stupid
really
good
was.
time.
One of the things that I've found really adorable is there are people in the server who random matched to be roommates. And so they're coming into like the Bora Lounge and stuff to get to know each other. And so like we're hanging out as groups while the two people who are going to be roommates are getting to know each other better, as well as other people who are going to be there. And so that's been
freaking adorable.
That's been
That's really
really
cool.
freaking fun. Because it's like it's a way where you can meet your roommate face to face via video and talk to them for however long you guys want. So it's brilliant. I thought it was brilliant. It's been fun.
Yeah, big thanks as always to the Kansas City planning team, and in particular to Shells, who is going to manage the matching process just like she did for last year.
You know,
Like a fucking pro.
Like a pro.
Yep, exactly.
All right.
So hey, some of us are also going to be meeting in person at this little shindig that Hobie's going to be throwing around North America for a bit. AP529 Hobie tour merch.
Hold on.
Yes. Look at that. Oh, get your sign. Yeah. So not only
Show the
do we have
flexibility.
our Hobie design.
Hold on. I got it.
Yes.
Show the
Not only do we have our Hobie design. That looks so good.
Rollable,
But
foldable.
we also have the banners. That merch is available in the shop, and that is
you can roll them right
AP529
up.
/shop. I know you can. It's vinyl, it's foldable, it's rollable, it's waterproof. It
foldable,
says
rollable.
all the important things, which is Army Project 529 loves J-Hope. That's the important thing. And we are hoping that if you buy one and bring it, and we all hold it up, that somehow we will be on camera for when Hybe is recording these concerts. Somehow. The odds are really good that one of those banners is going to be seen in some of those recordings. So we're super excited about that. But also we just love it because you can find other AP529 people.
Consider this our project.
Yeah.
So I have a very small concert bag, and
the banner fits.
Yeah.
Hold it up there.
No
Roll it
crinkly
up.
paper.
Yeah.
It can also just fold if you need it to fold.
Yeah.
Just fold it in.
You can have a souvenir. Yeah, exactly.
It's not paper. It's vinyl, right?
It's vinyl.
That's vinyl. Yeah. But if you would like to have a free download and you can print copies yourself, then that's also available on the website.
Yes. And
And so,
download, it's this
yes.
paper size.
You can have it even smaller if you want.
Exactly. And just a little FYI, this is the last week for ordering Hobie merch and banners to guarantee arrival before the concerts for those in North America. So if you are looking to do it or you're on the fence, I would do it now so that you have everything all ready for you for the concert. Because why stress yourself out? You don't need to stress yourself out.
Yeah.
Order it and get it there so that there's no stress, because you got plenty of other things to get excited about. And just for any of you that are curious, there are 5 of us going to Chicago to see Hobie. Patricia, lucky little duck right there, lives in New York. She's going to be seeing Hobie twice, once in New York and once in Chicago. So that is super cool. But the 5 of us will, the 5 of us will
I'll be
be
in
there.
New York the second day, and I'm already meeting a bunch of people. So
Yes, and then we'll be headed in Chicago, and there's 3 of us, me, Patricia, and Quince will be day 1, and then Doc and Steph will be day 2 in Chicago. So we'll be around Chicago. So if you're headed there to see Hobie, then so we'd love to see you. We'd love to say hi. Come say hi.
And I'm not going because I don't like J-Hope. I'm just kidding. Somebody's gonna.
Why would you do that?
Oh my gosh.
we're gonna go viral again.
Joku. Please watch the whole
I'm not
live
going
in the
because I'm having a
future.
baby. So.
Having a baby.
I love J-Hope. I'm really sad I can't go.
Fine,
But,
Katie's
like,
just trying to get us canceled.
How dare she say that?
I just did it so I could see your
she's having a
faces.
baby. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Okay.
She's birthing a child and cannot
Yep,
travel
I
to
know.
the-
And
to
we
the
actually
concert.
talked to her. We were like, listen, you could be the army that gave birth at a J-Hope concert. That would be legendary.
That would definitely make it.
I offered
wasn't
to help,
interested.
but whatever. It's fine.
Wonderful
She wasn't
opportunity
interested.
to
For
name
the
your
record,
child Hope.
Doc is an
I
actual
know.
doctor, and I did ask her to perform a C-section, and she declined.
Yeah.
She's like, no,
I'm
not in the
certified
concert.
in that, my friend.
I can't
Certified in this, my friend.
legally. I can't legally.
Quite legally
Also
cannot.
held to the no. Because
Cannot.
Doc is going to
Also-
be busy rocking out.
Yeah, best I can do is a VBAC. Listen,
Best I can do. Best
I
I
can
can offer.
assist. Best I can do is assist
I
under
can do.
emergency situations.
Yeah, best I
That's
can do is
the-
call
that's the
911
best
for
I
that
got.
shit.
You know what, though? Let me tell you something.
Also have already called 911. It's an
tell you
emergency
something.
situation.
We've avoided using Katie's baby for any sort of gain, but I think it's time now that if we,
It's time.
I think it's time that if
think
you
it's
do
time.
enough likes, that
You
she
know.
will name the baby whatever you suggest. I think we need to
I-
start doing
I
something
still
like
vote Hope. I still
Oh
vote
my
Hope.
God, yes.
Like that's still
Yeah.
at least for a middle name. But that's whatever. It's whatever. I'm not naming her. It's fine.
It's
She
time
doesn't-
that This parasite started
Do
earning its
whatever you
keep.
want.
that. Exactly. And don't worry about it. She doesn't need to tell her husband. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's okay.
Fine.
Quince has been
Hope
trying
is
to
a
name her
perfectly
Jimin
valid middle
for
name.
months.
That's all I'm saying.
Kobe.
Look, we've already got Baby J as a suggestion.
Well, no, I was looking for a
baby
middle name.
Jay. Oh my
because
god.
3 of the grandparents have J-related names, and I was looking for an honor name for the middle name. Unfortunately,
Baby
2 of them were men.
J.
Anyway, and then Quince is like, Jimin. Done.
Jimin is a unisex
Jimin
name.
is a good
It's a perfect middle name.
Oh my
I'm just saying
gosh.
that Jimin is both a male and a female name.
Yes, it's a unisex name.
It
It's
is.
a unisex name. Yeah.
Anyway,
Man. See,
All right.
There we
So
go.
anyway,
I'm sorry,
you
you're trying
are
to get your name
at
in,
the
Emily.
concert and somebody happens to, be in your section and give birth. It's not going to be Katie, but what a story that would be. Please tell us about it.
that would be.
Yeah. We do have in our Discord, we have concert seating maps. If you haven't joined us, we have been putting together maps of the arenas, and we've been assigning people to their sections and their seats. Stephanie started doing it, and it kind of took off from there.
I need to update it.
So it's another good way if you are going to a particular location, finding people who are also going on the same day as you. And maybe you guys can meet up and you can make some new Army friends before and or after the concert. And you never know who's going to be sitting in your section, We know who's
Jen could be there.
to us
Yeah.
on day one. We know one person that is sitting next to us.
Right. Correct. But some people are going by themselves and they're taking a chance and they're traveling by themselves and going to the concert. So if you want to meet some friends and, get to know some people that are also going to the same venue, it's a great opportunity to do that. So check us out.
By the way, good on those people that are doing that. How brave of you.
yeah.
That's so awesome. I love hearing those stories.
I've gone to a concert by myself. I've gone to concerts by myself before.
I don't even like to go to a fast food restaurant by myself.
I got over that years ago. I used to be that way, but I got over that years ago when I used to travel for work all the time. But going to a concert is a whole different animal.
Whole other thing.
You have to. That's another hurdle. But I got over that hurdle a few years ago, and you know what? It's not bad. It's good.
It's
But there's no need to do that when you have AP529.
never bought
Right.
a show.
Friend, we don't let anybody Bangtan alone.
No, we do not.
that's true.
Nope.
That's true.
Doesn't Bonton alone.
Speaking of
Mhm.
Bangtaning,
Mhm.
we are wrapping up week 59 of our blog, which is called Gotta See the Other Side. It is the third week of February. Everything seemed to just converge, all things J-Hope, in this month of his birthday and his tour announcement. And it was his month in the project. We began at the beginning of 2024 with BTS's debut day, and we have chronicled their discography all throughout each week, talking about something different. And has brought us up to this point, when we ran out of BTS stuff to talk about, we started talking about chapter 2 and the member solo project. So each member has gotten a month to themselves. We started with November because we go in fan chant order, and we've worked our way up to February, which is where we are right now. And so, yeah, if you haven't checked out week 59 yet, it's up. It's great. We had our watch party. It was amazing. And I will talk about week 60 briefly at the end of the live. So stay tuned for that.
Awesome.
Week 60.
I know, right?
Wow.
So
There's only 75 weeks of this blog, to put that into perspective.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with myself. I mean, I do. There's going to be other things. We already have plans. But I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with myself when I don't have to write this blog every week.
It's going to be weird, man.
You know what I'm going to
It
do?
is
I'm going to
really weird.
around and I'm going to go back.
There's
and
going to be more
I'm
stuff.
going to rewrite the fucker.
By the way,
That's
if
fact.
you've never read the blog, there are no rules about where you have to start. You can start wherever you want in the blog, and you can go by chronological, you can go by the album, you can bounce around. It's
Whatever
all
you
good stuff.
fancy.
Yeah, it's all good stuff. So don't feel like you're behind. Even if we're in right now week 60, you're not behind. You can start wherever you want.
Yep.
So
that's good to know. Yeah, so as you guys can tell, we're a little busy. We do a lot of things. We have a lot of help to do that, which we're very appreciative of. One way you can help if you don't have much time, but you do have budget, is to either buy our merch, which is at the shop in the link in the chat, or you can subscribe to our Patreon, which is at patreon.com/armyproject529. If you're not familiar with it, it's a monthly subscription, so you can sign up just 1 month, or you can sign up for like an auto draw of $3, $5, or $10 a month. I believe there's also a discount. Like if you sign up for 6 months or a year up front, there's a discount. So anyway, those different tiers come with different benefits. I just posted some merch in progress today, and we have later this week scheduled a little teaser for something that's coming out. So we really appreciate everybody who supports us in that way, and I want to thank a couple of them personally.
Yes.
While I've got it. And then I'll let you know what their teaser is about, because we have some exciting stuff starting next weekend.
we just keep adding stuff.
Just
We're
stuff.
never satisfied.
Just
Always
Never.
stuff.
all
Like
this
what
stuff.
else? What else can we do?
So thank you especially to our newest subscribers, Pauline, Colleen, Laura, Mary, Stacy, Diana, and Amy.
Yes.
You guys picked all the similar names.
Very nice.
It's
Yes.
okay, I'll take it.
Thank you. JK Tiny Claps for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much. And the teaser that's coming later this week, I don't know if you guys realize, but we are almost at 100 days to discharge for 4 of the members. Starts next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yeah, well,
What are we gonna do with ourselves?
somebody reminded us just this morning, Mr. Kim Tae-young posted 107 days, D-minus 107 days.
Not that they're counting.
Not that they're
Every
counting.
day, all the time.
Yep.
Not that Namjoon is sitting in front of the clock like this.
Yeah, no. What did I see? I forget. It was I saw some just clip of something like running off and like with like the little steam behind their feet. Like it was like Namjoon on the last day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So those are starting next weekend.
Namjoon will have
As we have done for the first 2 members, we will have countdowns. We did not think it through that 5 of them were going to be going on simultaneously. So yeah, a lot of people have been working really hard on those.
We love a good countdown.
It's
around
been very intense this
We do
last
love a good
few weeks.
countdown.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did we think this through?
But yeah, we've
Absolutely
been-
not.
A lot more intensive labor, especially when you have people who are like on the same days.
Yeah. So
Right,
we will be having,
right.
so next weekend we're starting for Namjoon and Tae, and then the next day Jimin and JK, and then about a week later we're starting Yoongi's. And just because we always get questions, we are trying to align with the approximate time that they'll actually get discharged in Korea time. So they'll be posted
Yes.
in the evening U.S. time, which is
Doing our
morning
best.
Korea time.
Right.
Yes.
We
'Cause no
don't
matter
have
what we
any
do-
insider information as to when exactly they will be released.
No, it just
So
seems
we're
to be
giving it our
morning.
best guess.
Yeah, best
we
guess.
have we have fine-tuned our timing based upon the previous 2 discharges and how our countdown matched up to their leaving and their rough time of day of leaving. So that is how we have timed these next 5.
We take it real seriously.
Exactly.
I was going to say, Doc takes that shit real serious.
Yeah, there is nothing but
there was math involved. There was so much math involved. Katie and I have been on it.
I literally, because I didn't trust my own math,
time.
I literally went to a calendar and counted down from 100 to make sure I didn't screw it up. Do I know that I didn't skip a number? No.
We
You
even
can
pulled
actually
out,
Google it. You
we
know
pulled out
that.
an
I
abacus.
Googled it, but I didn't trust that either. I checked like 4 different ways to make sure I got the same answer every time.
Multiple different ways. But then our timing has been fine-tuned based on previous countdowns.
And
so.
thank you, everybody who contributed to the countdowns. We did ask for some volunteer help.
Yes. Very cool. And so 100, it's going to be 100 days. So all of us that we're going to learn Korean and have a glow up and save all of our money.
Yep.
This 100-day, the 100-day countdown is a perfect time.
How dare you
of
point
those
out
things.
all of my failings in the last
all of our failings.
It's like
we were all
kind
going to be
every
fluent.
way in which I have failed.
You know, in Spain for the summer, we always say Operation Bikini because you have to get ready to wear a bikini. Well, this is Operation Bangtan. You will
This
learn
is Operation Bangtan, people.
Listen,
Come on.
I was
Operation
doing
Bikini?
really well. I was doing really well on my Learn Korean plans until I spent 40 to 60 hours a week doing this. And I am one of the reasons why the Duolingo owl is in trouble right now. Like,
Me too.
I've been ignoring that bitch for a year.
He gave up on me.
Like,
Side
the only
note.
reason I open that app anymore is to make the owl not look angry.
I keep getting emails from Duolingo because somebody signed up for Duolingo with my email address for Scottish Gaelic.
Hey.
Oh,
Oh,
And I
That sounds
asked
to know.
all my family
are they
members,
doing
like,
are they doing their lessons? Is the real question.
I'm not getting nagged, so maybe they
Oh,
are.
there you go. Whoever used it.
Anyway, I asked all my family, I was like, did one of you like accidentally, was I still logged in on your phone? They're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I was like, all right, cool.
Okay, cool.
So somebody's learning Scottish Gaelic on the DL.
I-
What they're
I
going to do
suppose
with
there
that?
are worse
Who
types of
knows?
identity theft.
And there are worse kinds of identity theft. At least this person is bettering themselves.
That's true. Learn the
They're
language.
bettering themselves more than I'm bettering myself because I get nagged with angry emails from
It's probably an Outlander fan.
from the duo. It's
Oh,
fine.
yes. Probably Outlander. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anyways, you can still learn some conversational Korean in 100 days. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can still learn some.
Annyeong.
I did go back. I did join the Hangul class yesterday morning. I have not been in the Hangul class since September or August, somewhere in there.
okay.
I wasn't in there.
Okay. No one's judging.
Anyways,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
fine. I've decided I need to catch up. So I was like,
It's-
I'll
it's
listen
just-
so I know where
you're
they're
fine.
at. It's fine.
We're fine.
It's a secret between the 5 of us and the 99 people that are currently in this live. It's fine.
Yes.
It's fine. Listen, I'm not ashamed. Duolingo's been after my ass for a year. So the fact that the Hangul class, they haven't been hounding me at least.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
true.
I rejoined it.
They don't guilt trip you.
I just got to catch up now to where they're at.
Yeah,
It's fine.
For sure.
I'll figure
It's
it
fine.
out.
All right. We've reached the time. It's time for our deep dive conversation.
Deep dive.
Stephanie.
Get comfy,
Deep
everybody.
dive.
So sitting around, you don't know how much sleep I lose trying to figure out what we're going to talk about each week. And
But she loves
this,
it.
this time, I was all in my feels all week because I felt like we literally saw everybody or heard from everybody in some way, shape, or form, except for Yoongi, which I'm not even going to go there. We heard Jimin's voice live on Hobie's birthday live, and anyway, all felt right with the world. So I thought today would be an interesting time. Like, we've done our deep dives into each individual person as we've done their month, and we've talked a little bit about their solo journey. But I thought tonight it might be really interesting to take this opportunity, now that they're all kind of prepping to come, the countdown is on, and everybody's getting excited, to look back a little bit on who we think they are or how we see them maybe the same or differently now that we've kind of seen them through this whole process of not only the solo endeavors, but also their time apart. How do we, and we'll dive into this in a second and break it all up, but these are just some of the ideas I'm thinking. What have we noticed about the way they interact with Army that is the difference or same? Or I just want to dive into who are these men now that they've had some time apart, that they've got to experience their careers on their own, and they've kind of presented themselves in ways they never had the opportunity to. So that's kind of the goal for this discussion. Okay. So they all had to kind of go from like, and I even watched the Festa that shall not be named. I even watched that the other day for the second time, because I was like, okay, maybe I can watch it now that I'm not going to bawl my eyes out. I still bawled my eyes out, but I think it's really interesting now to sit back and watch it, knowing what we know and being so close to all this finally being over with that it doesn't hurt so much. But even sitting at that table, they were all in very different emotional places, and they were looking at it all very differently. So first I want to start from that. From the moment where we found out they're sitting around the table, we're going to have to take a break for a while. They were emotional. Let's start at that place, because that's the first place where we were all like, whoa, what is going on right now? And they had to kind of, in their own minds, make peace with what this new transition was going to be like. So start there. Like, what were your first thoughts? What did you expect for them to be doing? And then let's progress from there.
Wow.
I'm throwing my brain back to when I first saw that Festa.
I think for me, my first thoughts based on that live, the first place I went to was fear. There was a lot of fear of the unknown, because, and I think J-Hope really verbalized it well when he started, because he was the first one to do solo stuff, was this fear. They seemed to have this fear that Army wouldn't support them by themselves. That if they branched off into solo works, they wouldn't experience the same support or any support. I think was there was that worry, that unknown, because this was new territory. This isn't something that had been commonly done inside K-pop as a whole. Like, yeah, people have done solo works before BTS. I'm not saying that, but like a whole group taking a hiatus together to jump in the military all at the same time and produce individual solo works for the whole band is not something you really saw done to that scale before. And so there was a lot of unknown. And that live gave off a lot of pressure, and almost like a, maybe not so much a fear, but an unease about the unknown ahead of them.
You could feel a little bit of, like, it was like anxiety, like almost tinged with desperation, which I don't really like. I don't want you to think of it like super negatively when I say that word, but almost like it wasn't a desperation, it was because they wanted us to understand so badly what they were trying to say to us. Like that they just kept repeating, please listen to our words, and this is for the best. Like, you know, they all said it. Hobie said very plainly, he was like, we need to take some time away from each other to figure out who we are as individuals outside of BTS. And then they all said different variations of that same thing, basically. But that was the main point. And I hadn't been Army for a very long time before that live came out. So I was like, huh, what? That was what? What's going on? And I was still kind of even new to K-pop, so I didn't understand that there was a whole like military thing until that Festa, and I was like, what is this about? So it was that fear and uncertainty, like Doc said, like about what was going to happen in the future and the unknown. But like I was left, that's what struck me the most was how earnest they seemed, how like they just like, it was like the extreme eye contact of, do you hear what we're saying? Just listen to us. This is what is happening because we want to be better for you. We want to be better for ourselves and we want to be better for you. And right now we are not at our best. And that's basically what they were saying. And they wanted to get to a place where they could be at their best again. And so that's what I was left with. I was left with that they just really wanted us to understand that.
Even though they had to talk in code,
I was
they
gonna
couldn't
say,
even
I think
really come out.
It was very clear that they could not say everything they wanted to say for, I'm
Correct.
sure, a variety of reasons.
Yes. Well, I don't think we could really, frankly, talk about their military service at that point. So it was just kind of like they talked around it. They were like, there are things we have to do.
Right.
So you could kind of infer anybody who knew that the military thing was a thing that needed to happen, that they were getting to that age.
Well, and I think we talked about this since then as well. Like, they were all going through different and similar things. They all had to do their enlistment services, but they were also experiencing different things. Some of them, I think, wanted to explore things more solo. I think Namjoon in particular was struggling a lot, which we then saw come out in Right Place, Wrong Person. I think he was grappling with some of the harder parts of fame. I'm sure they all were and all have, but he in particular seemed to be in a bad place more than the others. You know what I mean? So I think that was something that he couldn't openly talk about then. I'm sure he was scared shitless to make Right Place, Wrong Person. Yeah, that's also one of the things I noticed.
Doing these member solo months has been really eye-opening because it's been exploring each individual member's thought process for that. Because before I just thought of it as a whole. Like, oh yeah, okay, they've got to go off, they got to do their things and they want to do their solo projects. But like diving into the psyche of like what they were each thinking going into this chapter 2 and what their own particular personal reasons and goals were is fascinating.
Yeah, because they all had approached it differently. And you can actually, if you watch it in retrospect, if you watch that dinner in retrospect, you can actually see that they are all in a different spot.
Totally.
Completely. Like, you know, for some of them, it's kind of an exciting thing that they can experiment with and that they can get to do stuff that they never did before and like approach it in a different way. Some of them are like hyper confident. I would say like Yoongi is like, oh, I have this done, you know, like I already know how to do this thing. Yeah. And some of them are like, just like I thought, like for me, the thing was this guy, when I saw RM, I was like, this guy is so burnt out. He's like completely burnt out.
Yep.
This guy needs to kind of get out now. Yeah. I was like concerned. And like, I was like you, I just like literally landed into Army like a few months before. And I was like, and now they're leaving? What's happening? You know? And
even Jimin made the point, like, I felt so bad for him because I felt like out of all of them, he was the one that least wanted this to happen because he even made the point. He's like, I am a member of a group. Yeah. He's like, I don't want to be a solo artist. I'm a member of a group. I mean, you know, and then I remember just watching RM because I was a new Army as well and thinking, oh, this whole thing's going to crumble because he doesn't want to be here. Like, he is over this. And that scared the shit out of me because I was like, I just fell in love with you. What is going on? Yeah. It scared me so bad. Yeah. Christina, what did you think when you watched it? I mean, being around longer.
Well, you know, first of all, I'm always struck, even though they have to hold a lot of things back, I'm always struck at their wonderful honesty.
Yes,
with
they
us.
are as honest as they can be.
Yeah,
they really are. And you know, we joke about how, you know, parasocial relationships don't apply to BTS and Army because we are real. And one of those times was watching that festa thinking, this is real. This is what you sit down and you tell your family and friends. You tell them this is going to be hard. These are going to be the hard parts, but this is the stuff that we have to do in order to be better for the future, like to invest in the future. And and so I had so much respect for them to be able to do that. And it made me sad. Yes, of course it did. And it made me worried, but it also made me think, okay, well, if they didn't want a future with us and with each other and with their music, then they wouldn't bother.
You wouldn't have bothered.
Right.
This would be really easy.
Right.
They'd just be like, deuces,
Bye.
we're leaving.
Yeah.
Bye. You know, and we, you know, because that's the truth. If they wanted to leave, they could very easily, and they could leave on top too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could, and thered be no shame in that.
I mean, they've done enough at this point that they don't have to
Right.
work anymore for their
Right.
at all for the rest of their lives.
Exactly. So it just made me, again, respect the hell out of them and how honest they can be. But I also was fearful, but maybe not for the reason for myself of thinking about losing them, because I really didn't think that was an option. But I felt the fear for them because I knew that they were going to lose some people who didn't quite understand what it was that they needed or what they needed to do.
Yeah.
And so I could feel that from them, the fear from them of like, people are going to mistake what we're saying right now. And so that was where my fear was.
And it happened.
And yeah.
And it did happen.
Right. But I always go back to the very wise wizard like Kim Tae-young, when he said 90% of people will support what we do. 90% will stay and understand what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so he knew, he was like, there's going to be an acceptable loss of 10% of people who just won't get it. And so I thought that was, and I thought that was pretty healthy. A pretty healthy way to look at it. Pretty mature and healthy. So
That 10% has been more than replaced.
I was gonna say, I think they expected to lose people from the fandom with the break for the military service. I don't think they expected to drag in as many people throughout the solo drops of the time they were away. I don't think they expected to gain fans from works that were released while they were gone. Like, just kind of like, here's a gift for you. I can't even promote it. I'm not here. I'll film as much as I can before I go, but then like, here you go. This is really all you get. Cause like I did my best. Here's new music. Here's what videos I got filmed, what things I got filmed, and enjoy this gift. I don't think they expected that to turn into as many new fans as they've gotten. The sheer volume of fans I see on social media, in our Discord, who are saying things like, this was my very first BTS live when Jin went live, or when J-Hope went live. Some people were saying that was their very first BTS live when J-Hope went live, so they're even newer. This is the first time I've heard Jimin's voice in real time. Those kinds of things really say a lot about the fans that they brought in. They managed to bring in fans who are now watching their content lives and things like that, who are supporting them, that came into a bunch of dudes in the military.
Right.
They were gone. Just sweeping new fans. I don't think any of them expected that to happen.
And a lot of them are here in our project. A lot of them are here in our project, which is great. Seeing in the comments right now, people saying like, I began my deep dive after they enlisted. And we hear this every day in our Discord when people come in and join, you know, oh, I'm a golden era army, or, you know, I found them, you know, during D-Day, you know, and it's just like, that's amazing. It's amazing. And it's a testament to each of their individual strengths.
So what do we think about, I mean, I know one of my favorite parts about the Golden, JK's documentary on the movie, and then now on Disney Plus, is really getting to hear his heart and really him processing out loud the pressure that he felt, not only to do well because he wanted to represent BTS well, right, and still carry that name along with him, but he also felt he wanted to make a name for himself. And I'm more than just the youngest member, the maknae of BTS and that whole thing. And we saw it with, with Jimin and the stress of, it took him a year to write, and that stressed him out, and all the different things. So let's talk a little bit about how we kind of perceive the pressure that the pressure they put on themselves. Like every time I watch J-Hope before going on Lollapalooza and not knowing if people were going to be there, if people were going to be there for him. And then every step along the way, they're always doubting. Mm-hmm. There's that hope that they have, but there's still that fear to a certain extent. So let's talk a little bit about how we perceive the pressure that they were under to be successful in their own name. And did we see that pressure change them at all? Or like to me, Tay didn't seem to change. We didn't seem to be bothered by anything. Like he's just like, whatever, right? He just did his thing. But I think some felt more, it showed more. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think for me, it's like perfectionists always put themselves under a lot of pressure. Mm-hmm. And I think that they are all perfectionists. So when
That's
you
a great
want
point.
to do a perfect thing and you want to just you want it to be successful, so you put yourself under a lot of pressure. And I think that they do that to themselves. And I think that it's something, I don't know. For me, it's an age thing. I feel that when you're younger, if you're a perfectionist, you put yourself under so much pain. But when you get older, it becomes a little bit easier. So I think it's also kind of experience, it's if you think about it and you look at that dinner that we were talking about, that festive dinner we were talking about, and you see it in perspective, these kids were putting themselves through so much, and look how well they did. You know what I mean? It's right. Life is a little bit like that. You kind of suffer through moments in your life, and then things kind of work out. And at the end of it, you look back and you are like, oh my God, why did I do this to myself? And I think that for them, it's a little bit like that. It's they put themselves under so much stress and pain. And probably now they're looking back and they're like, look at us, it's we put ourselves through so much pain for nothing because we actually did well. So,
yeah, but part of why they did well was because of their personal pressure.
Right. I think about that pressure though, for them artistically. And I think there's a different kind of pressure you put on yourself when you're an up and coming. You're the underdog. You're fighting for every scrap. The kind of pressure that they put themselves on when they were early, debut era, versus now that you've found success. I think the pressure changes, and I have to imagine that they were also thinking to themselves, okay, we know what made us successful as BTS. Now, do you want the same from me as a solo artist as much as I can give you the same? Or are you going to be okay with me going off in a completely different direction? There's a lot of pressure that way, right? What's going to make this successful for my fans and for me personally, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think about that because it's post their, their 3 English song era, right? That they're going to go on their solo stuff, which no matter how you feel about the 3 English songs, right? That shot them into a whole nother level of stardom. Yeah. Right? That was a whole nother level that they entered once those songs came out. But I know they struggled with that because they don't sing all of their songs in English. They aren't necessarily making songs for the purpose of radio play. Correct. Right? They're not making their music for those reasons. And so now I could imagine them as solo artists going, okay, well, what the pressure is on in terms of what do you all want from us? Yeah. And so that's it. And that, again, that's a different kind of pressure. Once you're on top, that's the different kind of pressure than when, than when they were struggling to make it. Right.
Right. I think you had a lot of people who wanted them to be the same because look at the freak out that poor JK got just because he said the word fucking you right. And you know what I mean? They lost their shit.
Yeah.
right? Did
Yeah,
not
they
want
did.
him to grow up like that. Did not want that from
Yeah.
him.
I think I lost my shit, but I kept my feelings to myself.
It's important. It's an important distinction.
You're allowed to lose your shit quietly.
The pressure
right.
that they were feeling, I think it's so, to kind of piggyback off of what Christina was saying, I think that it is very true. They each had sort of the same pressure put on them, but they dealt with it in different ways. And it was the pressure to not be part of a group for a while. And also it was discovering what they would be like as a solo artist, what they would be like as a solo artist, not just like what did we want from them, but what they wanted from themselves. Because I don't even think that some of them knew what they wanted going into chapter 2. Like, okay, we're going to go on this. I mean, I think they all probably were like, okay, yes, we have to do this. Some more than others, as we pointed out before, but they all agreed, because I don't think they would have done it if they didn't all agree. But I think some of them were like, yeah, we're going to do this thing. And then they were like, what the fuck am I going to do for this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think that, I mean, I think that like all of them had been working on solo music. They'd released solo songs at least before. And they had all at least written a few songs by that time and released individual songs. And so they weren't like a stranger to it, but some of them were very much a stranger to the process of making an entire album. And like, if you think about like JK and Taehyung, they'd been working on their mixtapes for forever, but we hadn't seen anything from it. And I mean, like Taehyung in particular, like, he seems calm and collected, but you know, like that man, like he'd be like, okay, here's this snippet of something that I'm working on, plays it for us. 5 minutes later, I hate it. I throw it away.
Yeah.
All of it's gone now. No more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, yeah, he put so much pressure on himself. He was like, I'll make a mixtape. I have the whole thing ready. And then I'll listen to it again. And if I suddenly don't like the flow, I just throw a whole song away. I just throw it out. And then I start over to put a different song in that spot. And everybody else is like, you know, people usually shuffle an album. Like, it doesn't have to actually.
No.
And he was like, no. It has to flow. And if it doesn't flow, I throw a song away. And you can feel that in Layover.
Also,
like the way that album
my friend
just
Kim
flows.
Tae-young, as a person who is creative, you should know that coming to hate the thing you've created is part of the creative process.
It's natural.
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe
Like
all
the
the
Mona
songs
Lisa
he
took
threw
75
away,
years.
he'll come back and be like, you know what? These are actually awesome. Here you go.
Or it's actually not as bad as I thought. I can change it in this small way, and suddenly I like it. Christine and I do this to each other all the time.
We do know that there were extenuating circumstances for a couple of members, and that we don't know, like, you know, some of the members had some of their music stolen. There was a whole lawsuit about it. You know, person had to go on trial, and they ended up, you know, getting sentenced and all that stuff. But a couple of the members had some of their music stolen, and so that drastically altered what we might have received in chapter 2. Especially I think for Taehyung, because it was probably a lot of what he had been working on writing himself. And so we might not have gotten Layover, which he didn't write those songs. He chose them. And so it still was very personal to him in the same way that it was with JK. But it's different. I think it's different levels of pressure of what, and when you look at Jimin, how long he spent writing, he was very particular on wanting to do that. How long he spent in that writing process with Muse and Face, and how funny to me it is that he finished Face first and was still like laboring on Muse for so long, even though he started Muse before he started Face. But that whole process was important to him. And then you look at Taehyung and JK, and like, while they like writing songs, I don't think that process was as important to them as it was for them to get something out that they liked, that Army would also like, before they went into the military.
And do you guys think, and this is a question for all of us, like, do you guys think that it was like a compounded kind of like fear and pressure? Because I also think that they were all also very, very afraid to go out there and expose themselves alone.
Yes.
Like, it's very, very, very hard to kind of like say, okay, I have other 6 people with me that can cover for me and my failures, but now it's me, you know. And like, also considering the panorama, and we've lived through this year,
Yes,
like the Korean media and how they pick on every single little thing.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, I don't have my 6 brothers with me. I'm going to go out here and put myself out there. That's also super, super scary.
I think each one of them said it. It feels weird.
All of them.
Yeah, they all said it. It feels weird to be here without my members.
Even us, how many times have we freaked out? Like we've talked about this before. When we first got on TikTok, when we made the project account, you have to go live a certain number of times before you can have guests. And we were like, okay, we'll each take one. And so we each tried to do a live alone. That alone was terrifying. And like, let's be clear, our audience is like microscopic compared to their audience.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But luckily for all of us, assholes are universal. So you get them no matter how big your audience
Assholes
is.
in every language.
That's true.
Yep.
In every language.
Friends know about
Every
it.
language.
Assholes and
you should-
opinions. Everyone has them.
Everybody has them.
Everyone has them. Everyone has them.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
make sure you hear them, no matter how big or small you are.
You know, I think about that, Patricia, what you said, and I also think about in a way that it's very kismet that they happen to be going through this whole process at the end of their 20s, looking at their 30s, which is I think for a lot of us, if not all of us, a time of some really deep introspection about leaving behind sort of the I was a little bit more carefree, you know, a little bit less responsibilities in my especially in my early 20s, and now looking at my 30s, like, what am I going to do differently for myself, and what have I not realized in my 20s that I now want to realize in my 30s. So so I think it came at a natural point for them, just in their life, in a human lifespan sense.
That's the shit, I'm a real adult life crisis.
Yeah, I mean that's true, and they joke all the time about they age themselves up. They joke all the time. You know, I'm gonna be 30. I'm gonna be 39 next year. You know, they joke all the time about that. But you know that joke holds a lot of personal weight for them as well, because they're saying, not only am I doing this, you know, human lifespan thing where I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have to start maybe doing things a little bit differently if I want a different outcome, but I'm getting to the point where, you know, there's not a whole lot of successful K-pop bands / soloists that have done what I want to do at this age that I could use as a blueprint.
I mean, like the longevity of K-pop groups, like
I think part of that learning process on longevity, I think that's why a large reason why they value their friendship with Coldplay so much, because they're a different genre, but that band has proven longevity for a very long career. And so, you know, you can see a lot of almost the evolution of their seeming approach to things modify since they developed a friendship with them.
And it is, and it is in their head.
Yeah, they've said a million times they want to perform until they're, you know, 60, 80, but they have to modify in order to do that. You know, because like they've joked, you know, I'm not going to be out there brutolene dancing at 60 and 80 because like my body won't.
I mean, it's like,
so, like, I mean, JK will probably still be trying.
But the entire but it's in their head. It is in their head a lot, because the entire conversation with Hobie the other day and Jimin and JK, what was it about? Oh, JK is going to be 29. I mean, like,
Which lies. No, he's
and
not.
Jimin was like, and my
Lies.
body aches everywhere. And you're
Body
like, they sound like my
Ancient.
50-year-old friends talking about like, oh, I have this pain here
Oh,
now.
my
that
sciatic.
doesn't go.
Well,
Ow,
listen,
ow, ow.
listen. I don't. If I had practiced and done what they had done by the time I was 30, listen. Indiana Jones said it best. It's not the years, it's the mileage.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And
Facts.
those
That is fact. We've all seen the
those
way their bones crack and pop and snap.
men
And
have
They
lived
have some
as performers have lived 3 lifetimes as
Mhm.
performers.
That is true. That is
before
true.
this will
That
occur.
is fact.
So-
That's
That
what I
is
was gonna say. Is they've in some ways they've lived way more life than most people their age have. They've had many more
Right.
experiences, and in other ways they haven't. Like poor
Yeah.
Ted
Right.
trying to go through the drive-through, and he's never been through the drive-through. Like there's certain normal experiences that they haven't been able to have. Like I said, I don't mean to say that they need to be babied, because in many ways they are very more experienced. They've experienced more. Yeah, they've had many more experiences, but there's certain things they haven't been able to do. And they wanted to go do some of those things. They wanted to be as normal as they could be for a little while.
Let me ask this. So what do we think about, one of the things that I loved about all the albums, even if they didn't write their own music, they still found things that allowed them to share a part of themselves. Some, like with RM and Yoongi and J-Hope, and they, not that they haven't always been, but they were so vulnerable. So like, as all of you were saying, they're coming to this point in life where we all do, where you're like, who am I? Like, right? Like, I've been a part of this group, but this has been my identity since I was 15, since I was 17, since I was 19 or whatever. And they're going through this whole process of who am I and what do I want to be and who do I want to be? And they put that and those questions and their struggles and all the bullshit that they've gone through. They put that in their music, and we're willing to be so vulnerable about it. Do we feel like that was something that they each came about on their own? Like, here's my shot. I'm going to do this. I wouldn't have had this opportunity otherwise. Do we think it was just a natural thing that kind of happens through this whole journey? Like, what do you think about this vulnerability that they all just like literally like shoved into their music? Because to me, I almost feel like they're like, well, if we're going to lose 10% anyway, here we go. Let's be brutally honest, right? Here's my shot to tell people how I really feel.
Right.
There's also a certain freedom when you're where they are. I mean, it's like they are at a point is like, I mean, you cannot get any higher, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it was like, what does it mean if we lose like 10? Like what you say, we lose 10. Like I can put myself, there is like the fear of not succeeding, but also like the kind of the reassurance that at least there's going to be someone that is going to listen to you, and those someone are going to be a multitude.
Yeah.
Because you already have like the cushion. You know what I mean? It's like having savings. You know that if you lose your job, you're going to still have your savings, to keep you up for a little bit at least. So it's like, I don't know. It's kind of interesting because if you think about it, there's a lot of elements there that come to play, Yeah,
I think part of the vulnerability we saw in their music too is, that litmus test for longevity largely depends on whether your fans will stick with you when you're real. Because the reality is they're reaching an age where they probably will be, finding life partners or getting married and potentially starting families, and will Army stick with them if they're honest about how they feel as humans? Part of growing up as a band, like they can't be stuck in that bubblegum boy band kind of zone and be a band that's long term. They can't have longevity and be stuck in juvenile music. They have to evolve, they have to grow. And so part of this is the fans stick with us as we mature, as we become more adult, more mature artists. Because if they'll stick with us during this maturing transition, which honestly, it was fucking brilliant to do that maturing transition as solo artists. Because like the fans got to deal with, I'm gonna fuck you 7 days a week, but it was only one artist. It was only one member of the band who was gonna fuck us 7 days a week. You know what I mean? It wasn't the whole 7 of them.
The rest of them weren't quite so literal
We
about it.
weren't up there with like Bob say choreo, all 7 of us with those kinds of lyrics. And so like we got to ease into it.
We just lost half of our viewers because now they're all disassociated. We're all disassociated right now. Like,
fans got to mature.
Just let me say, just take one break, one breath. Everybody that's thinking right now, just stop it.
What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about this? Is this what you're thinking about?
Right. Is this what you're thinking about? You're not helping, Christina. You're not helping at all.
I know what you're thinking about. I know.
But like even like with RM's music, we got to mature through Indigo. Indigo set us up for RPWP. He hit us with RPWP, people would have lost their fucking minds. And if the whole band hit us with something of that style, people would have lost their minds. But he's one of them, Right. And so that's this journey of maturing, doing it through solo music is actually absolutely fucking brilliant. Because now, and they had the perfect excuse with enlistment, and now they're all going to come back, but Army's mindset is expecting a more mature style of music out of them, which is going to set them up for a longevity in a career, because those of us who stuck around or came in during that maturing process are anticipating a mature Bangtan. And Jay Hobie coming out of the military the way he fucking did is really, really, the way Jin has just the way that man came out of the military, like those two
people.
Listen, Tusok have set us up for a mental expectation of what we're going to be experiencing, because those two are not the same as they came out a lot more grown. So like now we have that expectation as a whole moving
what's
forward.
Crazy is that they had even, I think I would posit that they had even started before chapter 2. Because when you look at, if you look at their discography, which we have been quite closely, when you look at their discography, even from, obviously if you look at the beginning and then you go to and you get to 2020, that's a huge leap. But even from, if you look at Wings, in 2016, and then you go to Map of the Soul, that's still another huge leap in in terms of style and the complexity of what they were writing about. And Wings is still pretty complex. So but when you get to Map of the Soul and they're talking about and Persona, and they're talking about the ego and the shadow and all of that, that's worlds away from We Are Bulletproof Part 2, which still also had a really good message, but it's worlds away. So and then the B album, and you look at Blue and Gray, and shit like that. They were already starting. They were easing us in through the pandemic, and then so it's okay, this is we had Dynamite, we had Butter, we had Permission to Dance, but also we had this. And so,
can I manifest an unpopular popular opinion?
Maybe.
Go for it.
I feel they have been true to themselves from the very beginning.
Oh yeah.
Evolving through different types of music. They have been true to themselves, except maybe 3 songs, and I'm not gonna name them. But I have been very.
Yeah, but those 3 songs were specifically designed to cheer us up during.
Exactly.
And they did their job. They did their job. They were supposed to be a different thing. They were gifts to make everybody happy during a time of.
I get
trials.
it, and I get it, and maybe because I arrived late, I just don't like them. But
no, at first I didn't. I didn't resonate with them either. And I still don't seek them out necessarily.
Yeah,
not my favorites. But if they come on, I will bop to them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, and also I'm, we're, to be very clear, everybody here likes what they like, and the 6 of us have different backgrounds and styles that we like, and different. Yeah. So
they're
you
very
like
different,
what you
but I
like
them.
from the discography. Like,
But
Right.
okay,
That's what
let
we-
me say this. But they have been true to themselves from the very beginning until now. And I don't think that when they went solo, they were going to move out of that idea of like, I have to be true to who I am, even if I'm not part of the group.
Oh yeah, they stuck with
Oh
it.
yeah,
So-
for sure. But it was
and then-
almost like a deeper honesty in their solo
Exactly.
works to them as a person, because like I believe it was one of them said, the difference between the solo works and the group works is the group works, they have to write songs that all 7 agree on. And so
Yes.
like they have to create a sound and a vibe and a flow that the collective agrees on. Whereas in their solo works, they're the only ones that have to be happy. And
Yeah.
so they can be more honest about their own self
And then
in their solo works. And I think they did stick with, like you said, being true to self, but in a deeper, more personal way.
okay,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna bring up like this writer. Well, she's a neuroscientist. She was a producer. She was a producer of Prince. She wrote a book that I read when I got into BTS that I was like trying to figure out why I was getting into this so deeply because I couldn't understand it. She's a neuroscientist. She wrote a book about music and why people like certain types of music. And the first thing that she names as one big drag for certain types of brains to get dragged into music is authenticity.
Yeah, for sure.
So I feel that there's like a lot of us that are on that train with BTS of
Mhm.
like, this is what drags us in that what keeps us in this thing.
I mean, to be clear, we can listen to other music. Like you can hear a song that you like on a surface level, and it makes you kind of like bop and groove. And you're like, cool, but it doesn't make you want to find out more about the person that made it. And that's
Yeah.
the difference, I think. When the authenticity comes in, and that's when you're like, okay, I really have connected with this, and now I want to know more about the person or the people that made it. And that's what draws people to BTS, I think.
Mhm.
Totally.
And them as solo artists.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right,
I think it says a lot that they've been helping with the writing process and the producing process since day one.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Um,
And again, but though back to that vulnerability, you talk about those 3 English songs. I know for a fact, because he said it, that Namjoon struggled after those 3 songs did so well, because he was like, well, what the fuck then do I do now though?
Yeah.
Like
that's
you
not
want
us.
more of that? Because that was like a tangent that we went on for very specific reasons.
Yeah,
So
we're not going to keep doing that.
So yeah, right. So like our goal is not to, go further away from ourselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Our goal is to come back to whatever it is that we're, because that's the way that we've always been. So
I think the reset came at a perfect time because
Right,
it was like they were hearing, oh, well, you should do more things like this. And they were like, yeah, but we don't want to do more things.
we don't want to do things. Right. We don't want to do those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, look at what I believe that those 3 songs, what are the positive benefits of those 3 songs? One of the benefits was the collaborations then all of a sudden with Western artists became something that they were like, just name your person that you want to work with. Name your person. And who doesn't want to work with BTS, right?
The positives greatly outweigh the benefits,
Right.
the negatives.
Yeah.
Why
And so then you get them being able to work with people that they idolized.
Mhm.
I mean, and if there's any doubt that they idolize those people, just watch Hobie meet J. Cole for the first time.
Oh, gosh,
Right.
Like,
Right.
the fact that he gets to work with one of his greatest inspirations is just like, that's like a watershed moment.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Right.
and I agree with Leslie's point too, what she just said in the comments, because I feel like, yeah, I mean that maybe that music, those 3 songs aren't for everybody, but there's a lot of people who never ever would have given BTS a chance because their music, they didn't understand it. But hearing those 3 songs made them love the music and love the group enough to at least now try to start trying the other things that maybe they wouldn't have been attracted to at first.
Oh, yeah.
there's so many Dynamite and Butter Army that
Mm-hmm.
met them through that music. Okay, we got 10 minutes left, so I want to kind of end with this question. So we've talked about the vulnerability. So now what do we think this return to each other, this return to group mentality, now that they've all had the opportunity to make music on their own and do the full process, what do we think this looks like now with them in 100 and some odd days coming back together?
I think it's going to be awesome.
I mean,
because these guys know music. They know music. It's like, it just is not, they don't only make good music, they just know music. So what they're going to bring us back is going to be mind-blowing.
The first thing is there's going to be like this extreme energy of them being so excited to be back together. That's going to be the first thing. That no matter what they do out the gate, it's going to be insane because they're going to be that excited to be back together again. I think that after that, I think we've kind of touched on what we think a little bit of the things that maybe they have planned for like the first like 6 months. I think we said like, we don't expect them to go on tour right away. It's probably going to be at least until 2026, which again, we don't have any insider information and we don't know this for sure. This is just all speculation. That we know that there's some sort of HYYH anniversary project in the works. It's probably going to be coming out somewhat soon in the near future for the 10th anniversary. And they talked about a Bon Voyage. They very heavy-handed hinted at a Bon Voyage.
Very heavily
hinted at that. So figure that, and I feel like that is going to be an amazing time for them to get reacquainted with each other. If they do that, and if they've timed it like at a good place where they come back, maybe they do like a few appearances, they do some like Army Day stuff together, things like that. And then maybe they like go off on their Bon. This is maybe just what I kind of want to happen for them. They go off on their Bon Voyage and they get that time to like get reacquainted with each other again and like talk about their experiences over the past 2 years. And even though I'm sure they're still in the group chat, like there's something different about talking face to face and having that time, as we've seen on like In the Soup and Bon Voyage before.
And cooking together and making food together.
Getting to know each other again as people, and then working back into the performance aspect of it together.
And I'm gonna make a wish here. I hope that they find a way to carve space to be also individuals.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they're going to carry it with them, and I think it's going to give each of them a stronger voice in the unit than maybe they had before.
I know one thing I'm really excited about is members who previously did not participate very much in the songwriting and producing side of it now have a level of experience in that hopefully will give them the confidence to actually play a bigger role in the songwriting and the producing as a collective, and that will change their voice as well, the whole group voice, because when more of them are contributing to the songwriting process, you're going to get a different flavor as a group that's more inclusive of all of them. And I'm really excited for that moving forward when they come back, because the experience that they get their solo works will all contribute now to an even greater OT7 in the future. And
the pressure I think might be off the three, to feel like they have to carry the whole.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a bad way, carry the whole, but I just mean the three rappers were mostly the ones that wrote the content and created it. And we know that RM felt a lot of pressure in that,
Yeah.
I mean, they can divide and conquer.
Well,
Jen can be in charge of variety shows.
And with from the pressure standpoint too, all 7 of them are now very well experienced in interviewing when they're the only ones who can talk. And
Yeah.
so that pressure on RM to be the one speaking is going to be basically gone, because they're all very experienced now in interviews and working together and speaking, being the only one. They can't pass the mic when they're the only one. So I feel like we're going to get a lot less mic passing behavior. I mean, some of them are still going to pass the mic. They're still going to do it. But like, you know, I think the pressure is drastically reduced on like one person carrying those interviews.
They all have so much more performance experience now too, as individuals, and learning how to carry performances on their own. And they can imagine bringing that back into a group dynamic, and then you have like 7 people performing with the experience of solo, like as a soloist, but in a group, like the power of a soloist, but in a group.
Dude, and I listen, I fell in love over and over and over again while watching Yoongi perform in his solo tour, and now to see what Hobie is going to do in his tour, and then imagining how that's all going to come back together is so freaking exciting. Like, and I see a lot of theories on social media or people getting upset. Like, what if they go this direction? What if they just the great thing about me and the way I feel is that I'm ready and excited for anything and everything they want to show us.
Whatever they do,
I'm going to show up. Yeah, and I'm here for, and it will be different, and that's not a bad thing.
It will be special,
right? It will be special.
Yeah, and listen, their performances, you know, I don't know what to expect from J-Hope, because I don't think it's going to be like Yoongi's.
No.
Why would it? You know, he's his own performer, and he has, you know, different skills that he likes to trot out in front of people. So yeah, I can't wait to see the contrast. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I know.
It's going to be amazing.
So freaking excited. And
I think one of the things that made me excited about the return was with Hobie's birthday live. And I know this sounds ridiculous, but you guys will get it. Like, there's something about when Jimin and JK called in and seeing that love is still there. Hobie's entire personality sort of came back. You know what I mean? Like, he was sort of subdued a little bit. And then as soon as he saw Jimin on the phone, it was like right back. And so I think that love obviously has grown between them. Distance makes the heart grow fonder, as somebody said in the comments. They've had time to now see who they are apart. And I bet they're excited, just as excited as we are to see who they are newly together, coming out of this whole different experience. I mean, I can't even.
It's going to be amazing to watch.
They asked that question a million times before they left. They I wonder what we're going to be like. I wonder what each of us is going to be like when we get back, and when we come back together. What is our group colors? What is it gonna be? They said that word over and over again. Like, what is our colors going to look like? You know, and
Jungkook's going to do that dance for Yoongi, and Yoongi's just going to
forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's still so fucking annoying.
It's still annoying, but I love you.
Yeah, you will look on.
And then we don't
fondly.
even know, like, and of course, I'm a Yoongi bias, as you know, some of us are, but so maybe it comes from that place. But I'm telling you right now, like, them all coming together is going to be amazing, and we're gonna have that. But when Yoongi gets to come back into the fold, that we actually can see him, hear him, do all that again.
It'll be the last puzzle piece.
Right. It
will feel like all is right with the world again. Like, that's how it will feel for me, I think.
Yeah, because the 7 will be complete.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's been this feeling of bereftness for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Listen, you want to be in the Discord with us, because as soon as that live notification goes out, we jump into that Discord channel and we're all together so we can scream and yell and cry and be idiots all together. I can't wait.
Type in like nonstop. The chat's just popping.
Yeah.
And so you know this about 529. It doesn't matter what we are doing. We could be doing the most important presentation of this entire project. And as soon as that notification for live goes on, we're gone. Like we yeet ourselves out and we go watch the live. So
Legitimately,
we have
legitimately
priorities.
Out of lives with over 100 people in them, just
I'm
because
so
they
sick.
helps live. Bye.
We have priorities, just so you know.
They are our
Thank
If
you.
priority.
they go live
Priority.
when we're in Kansas City, that shit's going on the big screen. It doesn't matter what the
Exactly.
plan is. That
Doesn't
live's going on
matter.
the big screen. We're still going to be in the Discord,
I
chitty
can
chatting about it. It's
I
going to
can't
happen.
wait to hear 150 phones going off with a Weavers notification in the
Yes,
same
that would be
group.
fantastic.
That's gonna be something.
Yes.
We might get a taste of it in Chicago, because if J-Hope does anything like other, they've done in the past, he'll probably go live after the second night.
Right.
Right.
And so, we may still be stuck in the stadium. Who knows?
We don't have any prior information on that. That's just
We
No,
don't
we
know
don't.
for sure.
We're
That's
just
just
guessing.
based on previous tours for
What-
the last multiple
what-
years.
Yeah, that's what Moody
yeah.
did. I actually was in a train when he went live with Jimin after the Newer concert, and that was interesting. In a train full of armies.
Yeah.
To
Fun.
kind of sum up, the solo
Yeah.
era was amazing, and I think
was.
they've all learned so much. I think they all more or less accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. Even if they didn't know what it was they wanted to accomplish at the beginning, they figured it out along the way.
Yeah.
And I think that they accomplished it for themselves. And I think that and even in the military, like some of them had goals for themselves, and they set those goals and they accomplished those goals, and they've all been getting promotions. It's not like what they wanted to be doing with their time, but they continued to strive for the best that they could be during that time. And I think that's going to also lend itself to them coming back and being stronger together. And can't wait.
Yeah.
It'll be amazing. One real quick thing, because I know we got to get out of here, but before we do our closing announcements, what do we think Army has learned about ourselves, about being a fan, about supporting these men individually and as a seven? Do we think Army has changed through this?
I think real army has.
Real Army has.
Yeah.
But as we said
think
earlier, there's assholes everywhere.
Yeah.
I think those
but
of us who stuck around and who are like really in it for true support, we really learned how to trust the fuck what they say. Listen to their words, because they have never lied to us in their career. They've never lied to us, and so
They've had to admit
that
they've never lied.
they've had to admit, for usually like legal purposes or not spoiling purposes, like legitimate reasons, but they've never lied to Army. And I think learning as a collective to truly trust their words has been a valuable experience through this, because like devastation was felt during that festa that shan't be named. But when you listen to their words, it's like Yoongi said later in Shujita when he was venting, we never said the words hiatus. We said we were taking a break from group activities. We never one time uttered the words hiatus in that live or as a group. We've never said it. It was media outlets, it was social media, it was everybody else who went, oh my gosh, hiatus, they're never coming back. But they never said hiatus. If we listen to their words, they said a break from group activities so that we can come back. And so I think learning just how deeply we can trust their words has been really valuable in this era.
And learning how to navigate the internet, the world at large, when it's versus BTS, I guess you might want to say. We learned a lot about who and what to trust on social media, and how to navigate the best way to represent yourself is Army, and the best way to represent BTS. And those of us who, again, at real Army, actually tried to navigate those waters and learn those lessons and make adjustments and figure out the best way to respond to things and or not respond to them at all, versus, you know, the people that just wanted to perpetuate things. So I think that was a big lesson. It was not because people were awful before, but it wasn't something that we had to think about a lot.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of things that have happened over the past couple of years. And when the members weren't here necessarily able to defend themselves, so to speak, it became a guessing game, and a lot of people were weirded out and full of anxiety about it. And so we had to learn how to navigate those waters. And I think that we did a good job.
Yeah, I think to that point, Army proved to ourselves the actual power we hold.
Yeah.
Never before had a fandom actually manually controlled the algorithm on massive platforms like Twitter and Naver for 48 straight hours. Army controlled those algorithms because we came together as a collective, understanding how those social media platforms worked, and controlled the algorithms. And that had never been done before. And I think we learned a lot of power can be had to be used for good when you understand how these platforms work. And we never needed to. Before, we had to defend them when they weren't even here to defend themselves.
Yeah.
I still hope that wherever Yoongi was, that gave him at least a chuckle when he stopped.
It had never done. It never happened before. It had never happened before. Like
I really do. I hope he got a chuckle.
That was such an impressive.
I hope so too.
Couple days.
I hope when we see him the first time, like we get a massive thumbs up from him. Like he's just gonna be
or he
like,
says, "You crazy bitches! What were you doing? I can't even leave you for 2 years."
Hey, and this is what you do?
We also learned how to control the negative protests by blocking their view.
Yeah.
We learned so many things that will help us in the future.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. And I will say this, you know, and I said it in the comments a minute ago, and I hate that it took them being apart and on a break. But out of that came this project. If it weren't for that break, we would not have this project. And we would not have the relationships that so many of us have formed. And so I'm grateful for them for having to step away for a bit in the way that they had to. But
for
what
us,
a beautiful thing.
For us and for themselves.
Yeah.
I don't think they would be. I think they're going to be even stronger. I think they're going to be an even better BTS. I think they're going to be an even better BTS for having done what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we have that to look forward to. Yay. And now we have reminders for you guys.
Yep. Now reminders.
That was a great topic. Good job, Steph.
Thanks.
Yeah. Christina, you're up first.
Am I? Well, let me go ahead and open that tab back up. I was so into it. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. So, this is the same every week. So if, so if voting, streaming, and charting is your thing, because it's my thing, then come on the Discord. We have a channel where we take all the information about voting, streaming, and charting that we find over the various social media platforms, and we put it in one spot in a channel. And we give you voting reminders, and we brag when the guys get awards, and so on and so forth. It's a really good place to hang out, especially for those of you. A lot of information gets put on Twitter, especially for some of the voting stuff. And for if you don't happen to have an account in that particular social media platform, then you might feel like you're missing out on what's going on. No worries. There's plenty of people there that will gather that information and dump it into that channel for you, so you can have a one-stop shop for all of that. So come and join us in that particular thread if streaming, charting, voting is your thing. There you go.
Yep.
Katie.
So answering a question in the Discord, which I'll mention right now. We've mentioned it a few times. For anybody who's new around here, Discord is it's like a chat room app is the best way to describe it, but there's lots of different channels with different topics. It's totally free. It works on phones. It works on desktop, works on tablets, etc. That's the preferred place that we like to communicate in real time, in addition to our lives twice a week. So please join our Discord if you want to hang out with us. That's where we share a lot of information that's very organized. And the link is in the chat. Oh, and sorry, there's a second part of this. In our Discord, that's also where we host our watch parties. There's a watch party, at least 4 or 5 days a week. We have people in the U.S. who host for U.S. evening times. We have people who in Europe who host for what is Europe and Africa evening times. So come hang out with us. We watch BTS stuff, K-drama stuff, sort of anything adjacent. And yeah, it's a real good time.
Awesome.
So we have mentioned our blog at the beginning of the live. We were talking about how we're in week 59. Steph mentioned how we are about to be in week 60. And yes, week 60 will be dropping at midnight Eastern time tonight. And it is our final week of Host February. We will be covering 2023 until now. Right until now, like this very moment. All things Hobie, his on the street era, his Hope on the Street era, and going into the military to when he returned to us. So make sure you check that out. It is called As Always for Us.
No, I mean perfect, but oh.
I feel like this blog's gonna make me cry again.
Yeah.
So make sure you check that out. And yeah, and the newsletter will be dropping at midnight Eastern time.
Yep.
And
All right, and as
weekly content, what I meant to say, Katie mentioned watch parties. Every Thursday is the weekly content watch party where you can come and hang out and watch content from the blog every week. And we talk about it. We talk about the theme that week. Everybody shares their thoughts and opinions. We have a lot of fun. That's every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Okay.
All right. And if you enjoyed tonight's live, this is Sunday where we do our deep dive into a specific topic. We also go live every Wednesday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central for our midweek tea, where we bring you the member news for the week, as well as talk about any shenanigans that took place out on Kim Namjoon's internet during the week as part of our week tea component of the midweek. Super fun. So join us then, 9 Eastern, 8 Central for our midweek tea, where we're going to have a lot of fun because we keep getting increasing news as we get closer and closer to the end here, and people are doing stuff. Well, there you go. This week, lots of things have happened this week, so you're not going to want to miss Wednesday. Because a lot happened.
There's a lot of wheat tea.
A
this
lot.
week.
Yeah.
A lot.
Tons of wheat tea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thank you guys.
Is going to be popping.
Yes.
We love you guys.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much
much.
for being here.
Thanks for
Joining
joining
us.
us, guys.
As
Have a good
always,
week.
Jorge, we love you.
All right, bye guys.
Huzzah.